Welcome to the show, Halen.
Thank you, thank you. Good to be
I
here.
get that. I got that right? Halen, like Van Halen.
Absolutely. Yep,
All right.
yep.
My favorite question to start off with, man, is what's your sober date or your clean date?
It's May 15th.
Oh,
So
this.
um so technically May 15th of 2021 I stopped drinking. May
Okay.
15th of this year I stopped smoking pot. So I'm completely clean as of May 15th this year.
Nice. Congrats, bro. Was that designed that way to like quit smoking weed on that day to like have the same day?
Nah, nah, it wasn't. I just like I ended up with a sponsor who he was like, "Hey man, I don't know how to walk someone through a program if they're still smoking pot, and I'm still be your good friend if if you don't stop smoking, but if you don't, I can't really be your sponsor anymore." And I finally found a sponsor who like actually relates to me and understands me better than my previous ones. So I was like, oh, I'm willing to try it, and it
Yeah.
kind of just made me realize how much I was relying on it.
Yeah.
But the date just ended up being the same somehow because of the universe, man.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I quit smoking weed last April. Like I went to a rehab called High Sobriety that where you use cannabis to get off opiates. This was 2018. I don't think that rehab even exists anymore because people were taking advantage of it. But like I still smoked up until last April, and I was quitting benzos because I was prescribed them and I was abusing them. And when I was quitting benzos last April, I was like, you know what? Like weed isn't serving me anymore. I smoke all day every day. It doesn't have the same effect it used to. I'm spending so much money. I'm smoking an eighth of flower every 2 days just in smoking bowls sitting at my desk. Like, I'm just stoned all day. What am I really? Why am I just smoke? It's not serving a purpose anymore. Like I'm abusing
Yeah,
it more than it's helping me. So
yeah.
I was honest with myself, and I stopped, and I haven't smoked since. And I think the hardest part about that was 3 weeks later was 420, and it was my
Yeah,
first
yeah,
420 in 25 years, and I was 19 days clean from smoking weed. And my
yeah.
wife still smoked weed, and my best friend still smoked weed. And I was like, they both eventually quit. On my 6 month is when they quit. But they still were smoking. And they were like, we don't have to smoke today. I'm like, no, no, no. Like, you can smoke. It's a good test for me. I just won't be. It's fine. I'll watch the movies. It's cool. Like, and I was able to get through it. And once I got through that day, I'm like, oh, I don't need it. I don't need it. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'll be good.
yeah, yeah.
So, but your sober date you had said was May 15th, 2021.
Yeah.
Now, what was going on May 14th of 2021?
Ah man. So I I just like I was drinking from the age of like 12 to I'm 32 now, so you know all the way up until 2021, and technically I had a sober date before that, but then I relapsed, and I had never blacked out before. Like I had always drank, like I knew my limit.
Yeah.
So I would stop before I would black out, or like most of the time before I'd throw up, and then I like didn't stop. I kept going, and then I blacked out for the first time, and I caused a lot of damage mentally and emotionally to the people around me and to my property, and I just caused a lot of damage. And I woke up in the morning and didn't recognize myself anymore, and like felt like I was losing my soul. So I got back into the program, and I stopped. I stopped after that because it kind of freaked me out to look in the mirror and look in my own eyes and be like, "Damn, I don't even recognize that person staring back at me anymore."
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I know a lot of people have different rock bottoms, but that was it for me. It kind of sucked to cause damage and not be able to properly apologize for it because you don't even know what you did.
Mm. Yeah. Alcohol is a son of a bitch because of that reason. You know, it wipes away that memory, and you don't even know what you're apologizing for sometimes. It's almost like you need to apologize. You're supposed to apologize, but you just don't. And even when you do apologize, do you really mean it? Because you have no idea what you're apologizing for, except for what you've been told you did.
Yeah, yeah,
So, it's almost like a disingenuous apology. You're just doing it just to make them feel better because you have no idea why the hell you're apologizing to begin with.
yeah. Like you did something, but you have no clue like what the hell you did or
Yeah.
what you said. So then, yeah, no, it definitely like was a big turning point. After that, I was like, damn, I usually remember what I did the night
Yep.
before, so I can actually apologize because I know what I said and I know what I did. And
Yeah.
this time I had no fucking clue, and it was yeah
Yeah.
overboard.
Yeah. And you just okay, well let's and you said you guys have zero time before. Let's backtrack all the way. Where are you originally from, bro?
Fayetteville, North Carolina.
No, it's not far from where I used to live. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
lived in Durham for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's right around the corner. It ain't too far
Yeah.
out at all.
No, it's not. You guys
Yeah,
are down where like the army base is and shit, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And we're I was north of that. I was north of
yeah,
that, I believe. Yeah, straight north is Durham from there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but I lived there for like a year with my brother, and it was cool. It was just so hot, I just couldn't take the heat anymore. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, the
It,
humidity, man. The
yeah,
humidity is a bitch.
yeah, I couldn't do it. I was,
Yeah,
I was done after a year. I was like, I'm not spending another summer down here. Like, let's get the hell out. Like, actually, my brother and I left. Our lease ended July like 9th, and we left like middle of June. We were like, fuck it. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. It's way too hot. Like, we don't care about
yeah,
the
yeah,
last month. We're just paying. We're getting the hell out of here. Um,
yeah, man.
so we went back out to Pennsylvania. So you're from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, like I was technically born in Sumter, South Carolina, but I moved to North Carolina when I was like 5, and was there until like March of this year. Like
Oh, okay. So you
almost
were
all my
there for
life.
a while then.
Yeah, yeah, most of my
Okay.
life, most of my life.
Yeah. Now, when you were born, you had brothers, sisters.
Oh yeah. So I consider my half and my step siblings to be my siblings.
Yeah,
So
those
altogether,
two.
I have 10 altogether.
10.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where do you land in that 10?
The middle,
Right in the middle?
smack dab in the middle, man.
Dude. So you got 9 brothers and sisters. Wait. You have 10. You're one of 11 or you're one of 10?
I'm one of 11.
You're one of 11 and you're right in the middle of holy shit. Okay. Damn. All right. How many do you share with the same parents?
So this, I only have one that I share both
Okay.
parents with,
Okay.
and then I have uh, 3 that I share one parent with, and then the rest of them are my step siblings.
Okay. All right. Damn, that is quite the blended family.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's the age range from like oldest to youngest? Well, obviously you should know, but I mean, can you figure it out?
Yeah, oldest is like 40, and then the youngest is 20, 21.
Holy shit, that's not even that bad.
Yeah, no, no, not too bad. And I'm 32, so like, yeah, I'm right there in the middle.
Yeah. All right. Now, how long were your parents together growing up?
Until I was 5, and then
That is that when you
and then
moved? Is that why you moved?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
How
moved,
far is
and then
that
my
away?
mom.
I'm not familiar with Sumter, South Carolina. How far of a ride is that in between the South Carolina where you lived to North Carolina where you lived?
It's like I don't know, like 2.5,
Oh, that's not
2 hours and 45
bad. Not
minutes,
that
something
far.
like that.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not too bad.
Who did you live with?
My mom, and then she got married to my stepdad literally like not even a year after my dad and her split. Like my stepdad was her high school sweetheart, so they ended up back together, and he always treated me like I was his own kid, so that was always pretty good. But yeah, lived with my mom and my stepdad.
Now, did you say you were trans?
Yeah,
You don't look at it at all. You're very passable. Like holy shit. Like
Yeah, yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that
yeah,
all the time, man.
I had no
Yeah,
idea. Like when we started talking, even until you said it, I'm like, really? Like that's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
So what was that like? You know, 'cause at the time you were then, how many brothers and sisters did you bro like you were like a girl, obviously. When did you transition?
Um,
We're gonna jump
Shortly
around. We're
after,
gonna jump around. My head goes all
you're
over.
all good.
Yeah, my
You're
head
all
goes
good,
all
man.
over.
So I started my transition shortly after I got sober the second time. So it's been almost 5 years.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I would have thought longer.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, I came out as trans when I was like 5, and my mom said, "Well, if God wanted you to be a boy, He would have made you a boy." And I was like, "Well, shit, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about then, because
yeah,
if God would have wanted it, it would have
yeah,
happened." So yeah, so that was I came out when I was 5, but I actually like started my transition when
yeah.
I was like 28.
Now, what was it like growing up with a stepdad with a bunch of brothers and sisters running around, and you're 2.5 hours from your real dad or your bio dad, and you're in a new state, like between 5 and 12, because you started drinking. You said when you were 12, right? What was
Yeah,
life like for you between 5 and 12?
it was it was actually pretty fun, because this was before my younger siblings were born, so it was me and my completely biological sister Brittany, and then my stepdad's two kids, Jordan and Adam. And Brittany and Jordan used to hang out all the time. They were best friends, and then me and Adam were best friends. So like, it was actually really dope. Until like the age of 12, and I would say I actually started seriously drinking at 14, but just like when I was from the ages of 10 to 14, probably. My mom would just give me NyQuil every night to knock me out, and I started kind of just abusing the NyQuil for a little while there because for some reason, liked the dizzy feeling that I got, which later on I realized, why,
Yeah,
what it
for
felt
some reason.
like.
Yeah, I know the reason now.
Yeah, no, I discovered the reason. I just didn't understand it back then, but yeah. And then my mom would get me alcohol because it was one of those. Well, don't tell your stepdad I did this, and I'll just give you some of this. So that started at like 14.
Okay. Now, and that's when you really started drinking, like when you were 14. But it was more of a curiosity thing for you to start drinking. It was nothing happened though. They caused you to be like, I need to start drinking.
Not it was like I would get bullied a lot in school, and like my older siblings and my mom would like they would drink and party, and like my stepdad would be out of town all the time, so they would throw parties at the house and have like all the kids from school over, and like they would kind of bully me about not drinking or not smoking pot, and so then I kind of felt like an outcast at a point to where I was like, well, I guess if I want to be a cool kid, I kind of have to pick up this drink and have a good time with everybody, and so it was more of a I wanted to fit in with everybody that was around me,
Yeah.
and then I just really started liking the alcohol because then people liked me. It was like I was this lame kid, and then once I started drinking and having a good time, everybody wanted to be around me. So it started with me just trying to kind of fit in with people in my environment.
Yeah. Now, how was it for you? Like, were you into girls then or into boys then? Like as a girl?
Both.
Okay.
But
I'm
I
only
was
asking because like my stepdaughter's trans, into a girl, and she's 22. So I'm always not always curious, but it does like piqued my interest of like what you would have been into then to compare to now.
Yeah, I was more into girls, um, and kind of into guys, but also being into girls was also wrong because that's
Religious
against.
family.
Yeah, it was yeah, the whole strong religious background doesn't help with trying to discover who you are as a human being if it doesn't fit into the mold that
Yeah.
they have for you, you know.
What
So
religion were you growing up?
so on my stepdad and my mom's side, it was a Pentecostal Christian,
That's
and then
strict.
on my dad and stepmom's side, it was Southern Baptist Christian.
Oh shit.
So
You didn't stand
so
a chance, dude.
yeah, no, not at all. They even enrolled me into like a Pentecostal. Like the church had a school, and then the school got shut down because their science books were like, "Oh, God created the heavens and earth," and like they weren't actually teaching curriculum.
Yeah.
But we were in the school for like 1 or 2 years, like a couple years before they even did anything about it. So yeah, no, we were heavy. Like my stepdad was part of the finance room at the church, so we were there every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, sometimes Friday nights. And yeah, no, we were really big figures in the church. It was a really big part of our life. Like they would put on gospel sermons whenever we were going to sleep to bless the
Mm.
room and make sure the devil didn't get to us while we were sleeping. Um, so yeah, it was a time, man. It was a time.
Were you trying to like actively trying to find a way to escape that as soon as you could?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What
Like
did you feel was
at
wrong because of like the way you felt inside about yourself and like all this like they don't like who you really think you are? Like what was it that like what was it? Because like good.
yeah, it was. At one point I tried to like conform to it to make everyone happy, and I enjoyed children's church and stuff. Like I tried to really be involved, uh, but like seeing how they felt about people that were openly how I wanted to be, and seeing the hate that they were throwing that way whenever they preached love all the time,
Yeah.
and like then they showed us like these videos about how hell was supposed to be, and we were kids like watching these videos, and we like I still get dreams about them sometimes because it's hard not to when you're instilled that as a child, but like once I started growing up more and realizing like this is kind of fucked up, like this is it really warps your mind and makes you not think for yourself.
Yeah.
And once I started thinking for myself and asking questions, they didn't like that.
No.
They hated that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't they hated it because they don't have the answers.
Yeah, yeah. They have blind faith. It's the blind faith thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't like to have anybody push up against their the grain of what they grew up having blind faith about.
Yeah,
But yet it's okay to like drink all the time and like smoke weed and do all that shit. It's such like it's fucked, man. I was in organized religion growing up myself, but it was Catholic, Catholic church, and I eventually like I didn't go to Catholic school. I went to public school, and then for freshman year of high school, my mom like begged me to go to where she went to school, which was a Catholic school. And I'm up for meeting new people, and I'm like, sure, I'll try it. I'll try it for 1 year, and I didn't mind it. I like having the same thing to wear every day. When it comes to uniforms, some people complain about that, but like I wear a black T-shirt and mesh shorts every single day. Like that's just my uniform. Like I literally 8 black T-shirts behind me on my couch. Like that's just my uniform. And but this was in 2001, 2002, when really the explosion what was going on behind closed doors was really coming out big time. And I did not like having my name associated with a church that was okay with that.
Understandable.
The church I went to specifically didn't have any kind of rumors about it, but it didn't matter to me. It was the church in general that had the big time rumors. And I missed my friends in public school. And so I said to my mom and dad, like, I want to go back. My dad's like, hell yeah, I don't got to pay for your private school anymore. Like, my dad was all about it. He didn't give a shit. He just wanted me.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, fine, you gave it a year. Thanks for trying. And I went back and I never went to church. I went to church maybe 2 times since then. And I'm talking, this is 23, 24 years ago. And I've only been to church 1 or 2 times just for baptisms. If you see my friends' kids get baptized. But besides that, like, I haven't stepped into a church. Even when I got married in my living room. Like, I'm not about that kind of shit. I always say my joke in meetings is that I'm a recovering Catholic.
Yeah,
That's
I feel it. I feel it.
that's how I feel. It's just organized religion is not for me. Even when my best friend was getting ordained to marry my wife and I in our living room. She got ordained under the Church of Dudism, which is like based off Big Lebowski. It's a church in like Oregon, and yeah, so like it's nothing too serious. Now, growing up in a strict religion, not really sure who you are, boy or girl yet. Like you think not that you think you're a boy, but like you have a deep down feeling that you're a boy, and you've already said that, and you got shot down. But you were young, and you like girls, but you're a girl, so you shouldn't like girls, and you're supposed to like boys. That's what everyone likes when you're so that's tough. Did you have any? You don't got to say who, but did you have any other brothers or sisters that are like part of the community that like you could like hey, I'm like what you call it because they're part of the community too, or any
No,
friends? No, damn,
no. I had I was the like first person in my family to come out.
yeah,
Um, and I didn't even out myself. Like my sister ended up outing me. And like my family is very like they're very southern old school. So you have the homophobia, you have the transphobia, you have the racism, you have all of it. And at the time I was like I had been on a couple of dates with this girl, and she was black, and she was really dope. Her name was Dominique. She's really dope. So still friends with her to this day, and that was like middle school, beginning of high school. And my sister had gotten in trouble for something, and she was like, "Well, they're messing around with a black girl," and I was like, "For one, it shouldn't matter that she's black. For two, why would you do that? Like, what
yeah,
the fuck, man?" But it was just kind of how we were taught to navigate life was to either sweep shit under the rug or pull the attention to somebody else,
yeah.
and that way we're not focused on So yeah, no, I was the first person to come out in my family. And I remember having a conversation with my cousin one day, who we all assumed was gay, but would not admit it. And he looked at me and he said, "How did you do it?" And I was like, "How did I do what?" Like, because it was random. We weren't talking about it at all. He was just like, "How'd you do it?" And I was like, "How did I do what?" And he was like, "How did you come out knowing that they were gonna hate it, knowing that you were gonna get hate and be judged for it?" And I said, "Because I got tired of living." Like, for one, Brittany outed me. For two, after that, I stopped caring because they kicked me out, and I ended up living with friends who were basically family to me now, and started kind of living my own life. Although I still was trying to figure out the trans thing, but I was dating girls then, and you know, uh, yeah, there was nobody else to like observe and get
Yeah,
advice from or like guide me in a direction.
that's what I was asking. That's why I wasn't sure that many brothers and sisters. I would hope. you get some kind of guidance. Now, how old were you when that happened?
Um, I was 16.
Okay, so you had already started drinking by this point.
Yes.
But when you started drinking at 14, it was more recreationally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
fun here and there, like nothing crazy.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. It was just recreationally, at parties or like hanging out with friends. Nothing. Nothing super wild. It was just kind of chill. My drinking wasn't severe yet.
Now, it was 16 when that happens. Life kind of comes crashing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause I think I heard you say you got kicked out.
Yeah.
Where'd
Yeah. I
you
got
go?
kicked out. It was they said
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
stay.
Tell me. Yeah, I want to hear how this went because this is fucked. So
Yeah.
your sister says, well, blah 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 is hooking up with a black chick, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then exactly what your sister hopes would happen is everyone turns their attention to you, and you confirmed it when you got called out for it.
Yeah. Like I I didn't think there was really a purpose in me trying to lie about it. It was, um, my mom knew that I hung out with Dominic. She didn't know what was going on. Like she had dropped me off over there before because she had told my stepdad, like, hey, I need to go drop Halen off at Dominique's house. Lied to him about where Dominique lived because she literally lived like a block over, and then would go see her boyfriend, and then go back, pick me up, and
Fuck.
then yeah, go back home. You know. So I yeah, they pretty much said like, hey, you can either straighten your shit out and you can stop talking to Dominique or you can get out of the house. And I was like, I'm not gonna stop talking to Dominique. Like it's not even that serious. Like we're really good friends as well. And they're like, well, we can't have that in the house. And like by this time, my little sisters were born, and they were like, we don't need you influencing them into being part of the queer community. So we need you out. Like we don't need your influence in this house. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, you think I'm gonna like do some voodoo and make them turn
Yeah,
gay? Like that's not how
yeah,
that works. Like y'all raised me to be this Christian person, and I still turned out the way I am. I didn't
yeah,
have somebody doing, the whole gay agenda thing where we're
yeah.
trying to turn people gay. I literally am just like this, and so there was this woman. Her name was Heather, and I to this day call her Mama Heather because she was a couple years older than me. So I was a freshman in high school and or a sophomore in high school, and she was a senior. And she lived like in the garage of her parents' house, and she let me come live with her. And you know,
Can you
she
back up a little bit?
can.
Something with your phone. It feels like a fan was hitting your phone or something. I don't know.
Oh, I know what's going on.
All right, so you moved in with Heather. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I moved in with Heather, and she kind of took in a couple of other people too. Steven, who I call my brother now because she also took him in, and periodically random people would need a couch to crash on, but we became family, and she helped to take care of me and help me to take care of myself for the next few years after that, which is to this day I'm grateful for. You know,
Yeah, and how was your drinking once you moved out?
my drinking picked up, but also around that time I got into ecstasy, and I started selling it and taking it and smoking a lot more pot and um, doing a lot more drinking and doing a lot more partying, and so at that time my drinking was pretty heavy, but I was more heavily doing the ecstasy than anything.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you were in your late teens at this point. Were you still going to school when you got kicked out?
For a little bit, and then no. Then I stopped going to school, and I actually ended up with a restraining order from my school because like
Well,
I had.
they don't just hand them out. What happened?
Oh man. So my mom and the principal already had beef, and I had went back after I hadn't been there for like 2 weeks, and it was the end of the day. I was picking up my girlfriend at the time, and all my friends were excited to see me. So we almost had like a little block party in front of the school at the end of the day. And according to the paperwork, which I think is drastically over exaggerating what happened, is I started a riot, and I was like, that's crazy because we were chilling. I don't know where you get that idea from, but yeah, no, I had just not been to school in a while, and we had a little party out in front of the school, and I didn't bring any substances or anything, but I don't know. I guess we got a little too rowdy for the school, and it was a very like it was like the kind of preppy school in town, so they really didn't want that kind of attention on them. So yeah, it was just starting a riot apparently.
And then they gave you a restraining order.
Yeah, they said I'm not allowed on the school property. Made me sign a piece of paper, and I was not allowed back at Jack Britt. That was what it was.
Now, had your mom known you stopped going to school when she kicked you out?
Yeah, and she didn't care.
You're a
She
Christian,
she
like
could
you're a Christian,
she
like.
yeah, she could care. She could care less. She used to get in trouble for like not making us go to school. As much as me and my sister Brittany had issues, like she actually, other than outing me, she kept me on the straight and narrow. Tried to keep me on the straight, I guess. Whatever. Um, but no, she tried to make sure I went to school and tried to make sure I did shit she didn't. There was one time I distinctively remember we were sitting down at the pond and she was going to snort a line, and she said, "If I ever catch you doing cocaine, I will kick your ass." And then proceeds to snort a line, and I was like, "Okay, I'll make sure if I ever do it, I don't tell you." Like
Yeah.
it, it was, but it was. She tried to keep me out of trouble as much as she could, and our mom just kind of allowed the trouble to happen, and I think she low key knew that I was queer, and just once my stepdad found out, acted surprised and was like, "Oh no, you can't do that. You got to get out of here." And so that was a very, yeah. She didn't really care that I wasn't going to school. She didn't care what I had
It would
going
have
on.
been funny. It would have been funny if you would have been like, "Well, mom's hooking up with this dude," and just started out and everybody just started out and everybody's secrets.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been wild considering I would have had to lift the rug up of the mass amount of shit that we piled under there.
Yeah,
We would just sweep everything under there.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it would have been a wild it would have been a wild time. It sure as hell would have.
you know the that's another thing I have a problem with religious people. Like really religious is they're so what's the word I want to say it's like they're quick to point fingers but never look at themselves.
Yeah, yeah, they're very judgmental.
Yes, judgmental is a really good word.
Which is crazy because yeah, no, I'm not part of the religion anymore, but I will quote the Bible back at them because they
Oh,
taught
you
me
have
it
to.
from
Yeah, they
front to
hate that
back.
shit. Yeah,
And
they
I'm
hate.
like, isn't it judge least ye be judged? You're not supposed to be judging anybody, or else God is going to judge you even harder. So what are you doing out here? Like,
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Like if
Yeah.
don't judge me because I sin differently than you. You're sinning too. Like don't judge me because I'm doing it different than you are. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't involve you. If the Almighty is gonna be pissed off at me,
Yep.
I'll deal with it. That has nothing to do with you. If I'm not harming you, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to do that. You know.
And this was 2008, 2009, when all this was going down, when you're like 16, 17. So that's like well before, trans is like really talked about, like
Yeah.
in like an open kind of, I remember I had my friend Jill on the show. She's in California. I met her when I got sober in AA back in 2018, and she is 45, or she was 45 then, a couple years ago when she was on my show. I'll have to send you her episode. But she didn't transition until she was like 40,
Yeah.
and it's because she had no idea what transitioning even was. She's like, "Oh, this is what I've been feeling like for the last 20 years." And
Yeah.
had no idea what that feeling was or what those thoughts were that she was having all those years, but she knew she felt like she was different. And I feel like you were probably in that same boat, being a teenager, getting thrown out on your ass and having these feelings and not sure really what was going on.
No, absolutely. It I later on in life got blessed, and I mean I'm glad that I was blessed when I was, but I encountered other trans people, a few years before I transitioned, and I had so much envy for them that I was low key like this, like I was rude to them, like I was, and it was just me lashing out, but like going through my teenage years and like even my like in elementary school I would take different clothes to school with me to change into so that I could dress like a boy, but then going into the girls bathroom because I had to, they would tell me I didn't belong in there, but I couldn't go in the boys bathroom. I wasn't technically a boy, so then I just had to wait till I went home to use the bathroom. Just you, whenever you don't understand yourself and you don't have confidence in yourself and who you are and what you have going on, and you have everybody else telling you what you are and what you have going on, then it really does fuck with your self esteem and your head and your like everything.
And
So like
confidence.
yeah, yeah, all of it, and I hate that your friend had to wait so long, but I love that, you know, uh, you said it's a she.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she's free now and
Yeah.
can like actually be who she's supposed to be,
Yeah. She's awesome
because
too. Yeah.
I've never felt more free. Like I'm still waiting. By the beginning of next year, I should be having my top surgery. So like I still haven't had that done yet, or
Mm.
anything. But just being able to pass like I do
Yeah.
is like a beautiful thing, because sometimes it brings me into conversations where I have to like correct people on things, because like a lot of the times I just look like this guy who would have opinions like my family has, and I have to like break people's
Yeah.
break people's thought process on that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
You,
it's
you think
it's
I
oh
you
it's
think I voted for who?
yeah. Yeah, like what, like when the Roe v. Wade stuff was going on, like I
Yeah.
remember distinctively getting in an Uber, and the guy was talking to me and he was like, yeah, I'm so glad Roe v. Wade got overturned. And mind you, he served in the military, so my first thing that I said to him was like, wait, you served the military, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so you fought for people's rights, right? And he was like, yeah, I did. And I said, but you're that they're taking the rights away that you fought for people to have. And I have never seen a man stumble over his words so fast in my life. He didn't know what to say. Like, they don't know what to say back whenever you say things like that to them. Like, how would
Yeah.
you feel if somebody was trying to regulate your body and what you did with it?
I know. I mean, I don't know personally, but I know from like, you know, my wife and my best friend, and I have so many people in my life. Not my best friend, but like my wife's non-binary. My
Yeah.
stepdaughter is trans, male to female, and her sibling, my stepson's older sibling, is non-binary as well. So like I'm surrounded by the community, you know what I mean, and which is a good thing because I'm glad I get to see things differently, and I talked about it all the time in Swift Steps, which is why I think I'm so accepted in that group, even though I look like I should be part of your family. And but I know what you mean. Well,
Yep.
people talk to me like they think they know like my beliefs, and they think that they see a big guy with tattoos and a beard, and like, oh, he's in is like, fuck off, you don't know shit about me, like,
Yeah.
I like, so no,
I feel
it's a
that.
crazy time right now, man. It's a crazy time on the shit
It's
that's going on. In the news every single day, there's something, and it's crazy to think that I'm sober during this. That I'm actually
yeah.
able to stay sober during all this.
Tell me about it. I feel that, man,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
so
Yeah, I always think it's funny whenever people see like all my tattoos and they'll be like, "Oh, I really like that tattoo. Like, what's it mean?" And I'm like, it's a Swifty tattoo. Like, it's a Taylor Swift tattoo. Like, it's literally a song that she wrote. It yeah. I have a whole like, and they'll be like, "Oh, I thought it would be. Yeah, you thought it'd be something more masculine, didn't you?
yeah,
That sucks. That sucks
yeah.
for you." Uh,
Um, so was there ever any consequences to your drinking when you were a teenager? Like between your drinking and selling E and doing E, did you ever have to deal with any kind of consequences as a teenager before you get in your 20s?
no,
No, you
no.
were able to kind of
Um,
scoot under the radar.
I was hella under the radar. I didn't have any consequences for anything for a while. I just did, the ecstasy and the drinking and smoking pot, and nothing ever came of it. In a negative aspect in my life. I didn't get in any trouble by the cops, anything like that. I didn't uh, have to be put into any kind of programs. Like I flew under the radar, man, for years, for years.
Was there ever any kind of reconciliation with you and your family over that time?
Not over that time. Um, like we're all on good terms now.
Okay.
It took a few years, and it took me being gone for a couple years and um, going no contact with them and kind of making them realize that like if you don't want me in your life, I don't have to be in your life. If you don't want to contact me, I'm not going to contact you. And at some point, my mom reached out and was like, "Hey, I really miss you, and I hope you're doing okay. Like I love you." And I was just like, I mean, I love you too, but you kind of you're kind of fucked up. Like you messed my head up a lot. So we ended up, yeah, getting to a better place, and like I said, we're on good terms now. But that's gone back and forth, you know, over the years. After I got sober, I think I after I got sober this last time, I think I like reconciled with everybody in a different way than I had previously because I was finally confident in who I am as a human being and what I've done to cause my own problems and what I've done to cause other people's problems and uh, understanding that a lot of the damage they caused was from things that they've been taught their whole lives and they don't understand is wrong, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what did it look like for you in your 20s while you were drinking? Because like you quit drinking, you you quit drinking when you were 28, right? So, but you had some sobriety before then. You said. So, what was going on? Through your 20s to where you finally found some sobriety.
Uh, Man, so my uncle had told me about AA a few times, and I didn't understand why he was talking to me about it because I wasn't an alcoholic. I knew how to drink.
Yeah.
Um, but my cousin, who was my best friend, uh, we just drank together and smoked together, and we partied all the time. And I remember one time we flipped a jeep together while we were drinking because he had drank a whole bottle of Jack, and I had drank a whole bottle of Jack, and we were, uh, but he died in 2018 from a pretty serious drunk driving accident,
I'm
which
sorry to hear
took
that,
someone
man.
else's life as well. It's
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and like it. I don't know. I had never had somebody that close to me, die. Um, let alone from because he had started going to AA, had 30-day sobriety, and then you know went back, and we had a falling out, and like I think it's maybe a week before he passed. I saw him at the bar that I'd go to all the time, and he was sitting in my seat, and I was like, "Who the fuck is sitting in my seat?" And then I walk up, and I'm like, "It's this guy," and I was like, "Okay," and I want to go walk away, and he said, "Hey, you should take a shot with me." I was like, "No, we're not friends right now. I shouldn't take a shot with you." And somehow he ended up convincing me to take 3 pickleback shots, um, and gave me the most genuine hug I think I've ever gotten from him. And yeah, like a week later, he showed me his new. He had a Nissan Xterra that had a loud ass system in it, and he was showing it to me in the parking lot, all excited and shit. And yeah, a week later, he was gone in that same Xterra that he showed me that day. And you know, I got worse in my drinking after
Yeah.
that. I ended up flipping a truck, and the worst that happened to me was I had my elbow was skinned because my arm was out the window because I was, I could have lost an arm, I could have lost my life, and I convinced my partner at the time, who had dealt with a lot of my drinking for half of our entire relationship, and uh, I convinced her that I wasn't drinking that day when in fact I was. I even had an Angry Orchard in the cup holder when I crashed. Um, and I still drink after that. And then one day I had gotten really shit faced with my cousin, who was my cousin who passed, who was his sister, and and I went to go talk to my uncle and said, I think I should go to the AA thing you're telling me about. Like, I think you might be right to tell me about it. He said, yeah, I was just suggesting it to you because if I tell you to go, you're not going to. And I was like, I'm glad you know because I wouldn't have. And then he told me to go at a certain time because his friend that I had previously met before was going to be there, and I ran into her and started getting my sobriety journey started. Uh, after that, um, my sponsor at the time though was also my aunt's sponsor before my aunt had passed. And so when we were talking about higher power, she was like, "Oh, I know your family, so like, God is your higher power, like
Yeah.
from the church." And I was like, "Man, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I can really confide in him." So like, I think that kind of blocked me from being able to like do the sobriety journey like I was supposed to.
Yeah.
So that was a complicated. I had I think 6 months when I went back out because I had convinced myself that in the 6 months I was in AA, I had learned how to drink right.
We all do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'll just have a glass of wine, and that lasted for a very short period of time. Uh, but yeah, that was my original sobriety journey. Was yeah, I probably should have started it before I did, but you
Sometimes
know,
we need to learn.
yeah,
We need a second opinion.
yeah, yeah,
And so then May 15th, you decide to quit drinking. But at the same time, you're like, I'm still gonna smoke some weed, right?
yeah, yeah.
You're not ready to give that up yet. And you got a sponsor that was cool with it.
Yeah, back in North Carolina, didn't go around with sobriety. I had gotten a sponsor who was cool with it. He was like, as long as you don't let it like consume your life, as long as you don't like
As long as your life
abuse.
doesn't become unmanageable with it.
Yeah, and I wasn't being honest with him about how much I was using it
Gotcha.
because I didn't want him to tell me that it was unmanageable,
Yeah.
even though I
Yeah.
knew very well that it was unmanageable.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it from him, you know.
Hmm.
But
Well, how often were you going
I
to meet? How often were you going to meetings?
at least once a week,
Okay.
at least once a week. And honestly, that sponsor, I still talk to him to this day. He helped me a lot, because when we were talking about higher powers, he was like, "Yeah, the universe is mine. Like, I have religious trauma, and I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. So, like, the universe," and he was like, "You can pick what your higher power is. Like,
Yeah.
you don't. Nobody else is allowed to tell you what that is."
And this is when you started transitioning too.
Yeah, yeah. I started. I think it was 2 months after I got sober the second time.
Okay.
I I went home one day and to that same partner who dealt with my bullshit and
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, I'm actually a trans guy," and she was like, "Okay, I love you
Okay.
for your soul. That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with whatever you have. What do we need to do to
Yeah.
like get that process started for you? You know?" And
That's
she's very
awesome.
accepting and very very supportive. Like when I say that that's like I to this day that woman will have a piece of my heart for the rest of my life. But the amount of damage caused in that relationship, like I couldn't repair. You know,
Mhm.
it's one of those things. She did a lot for me though. She did a lot more for me than I don't know if she'll ever realize how much she did for me. But I caused a lot of damage. I did things to help her realize who she was, but I think I caused more damage than causing good.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, 2 months after I got sober, I started transitioning and started taking testosterone. Planned Parenthood is great for that, actually. In North Carolina, they took care of me real well. So
That's awesome. That's a great plug for
yeah, hell
them.
yeah,
Yeah. Now, you, I like that you moved all the way across the country and then you quit smoking weed in a state that is.
legal. Yeah.
Yeah. What made you decide to go away out to California?
um,
My home group for NA is in Santa Cruz.
hell yeah. I'm in like the outskirts of Sacramento area, so like maybe
Oh, it's right up by
40.
where my home group is. That's yeah.
Okay.
'Cause my
Hell
home
yeah.
group's in Santa Cruz. Yeah, it's not far from you guys.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My my roommate I've known since middle school had moved to North Carolina in 2021 or 2020 and moved back here in 2021. And he knew how unsafe it was in North Carolina for anybody in the trans community. And he knew how much safer and how much easier healthcare would be for me over here because they were making it really hard over there.
Yeah.
And so like in October of last year, they told me to take a week off of work to come visit me, realizing they were convincing me to move here, but I literally just came and they took me to San Francisco to see a drag brunch and took me to Yosemite to go camping and then took me to Apple Hill, the little like apple orchard place up the road, and uh, Sly Park, which was a really beautiful lake. Like they took me places they knew would capture my attention,
Yeah.
and then like ease the idea of like, hey, you could just move out here, you know. And then the new administration took office, and they said, well, we bought you a plane ticket. Like it's let me know when's a good time for you to pick up and come across the country. And I was like, oh shit, okay,
And you were
all
single at
right.
this point?
Yeah, I had split with my partner and was still living in the same. Um, we were living in a camper, so like we were in very close quarters. And even though we were broken up, we were still not acting like we were broken up. So like I realized once I moved here was the actual breakup. Um, so yeah, like I was technically single, but like not actually
Acting
single.
single.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, like you were bringing dates home and shit.
yeah, yeah. Not at all. No.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't strike me as that disrespectful type. Yeah, I mean, so how's it been in the last, 9 months of living out there? Because like I loved it in California.
Oh, I have. Man, the sobriety groups out here are fun.
Amazing.
Like they do fun shit all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
They have the best like groups and the best meetings, and they're so
Yep.
inclusive. And like all the meetings to in North Carolina were like old school religious like
Yeah.
meetings. So I really was not a
Yeah.
fan, but I needed it to get sober, so I went anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm actually excited to go to groups here. The nature here is so beautiful, like the kayaking spots and the hiking spots and the food. Oh my god, the food. Yeah, no, I love it out here, man. I love
Yeah.
it. I fell in love with it like when I visited, but like living here, it's still a culture shock sometimes. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm uncomfortable because this is nothing like what I was raised around.
Yeah.
But then I just think about it. I'm like, man, I really like that it's nothing like what I was raised around. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah. I was in Southern California when I lived out there. I lived on the west side of Los Angeles by like Santa Monica and Venice and Santa Monica, Venice, West Hollywood, and like that whole area. And I fucking loved it, man. Like I came back because my family we had a family business, a family plumbing business in Central PA. My dad and brother and myself, and they needed help back home, like with some of the stuff going on. So I was like, okay, I'm coming back, and I came back home. And then I eventually met my wife, and my wife has, an 11-year-old, at the time 5-year-old, with their ex-husband. So it's not like we can pick up and move back out there, even though my wife's sister and my wife's brother both live in Ventura, California. So we do have family out there, and I would love to retire out there. I just love Cal, and it's so like when I got clean again last December, when I relapsed on Xanax and ended up overdosing, and I reset my sober date, my clean date to December 5th, and I was looking for a home group at night and have a nighttime meeting, and I skipped it tonight, but that's okay. But it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 7 days a week, and it's based out of Santa Cruz, California, which is up by like I don't know near like San Jose and shit, like up by there, and it's in San Francisco. It's that whole area. It's probably not far from you at all, but I'll be out there eventually to visit. It's hard. My wife has MS, so it's hard for us to travel with my wife having MS and having a chair and shit.
Yeah.
So, but we'll figure it out, man. I love to see you doing what you're doing, dude. Like, you're living in a new place, you're starting over. You quit smoking weed. Like that's so hard. Like people like think, oh, that's easy. It's like it's not that easy. Like, yeah, there's no withdrawals, but the mental part of it.
No, so my therapist asked me, she was like, "How have you felt since you stopped smoking weed?" And I was like, I realized how much of an alcoholic I am. Like, I stopped smoking, and the first thing I wanted to do was pick up a drink. Like, I have never wanted to drink as much as I did once I stopped smoking.
Yeah.
And it made me realize, like, pot, well, yeah, I like to smoke it, but that apparently really, like, solidified the fact that I am definitely an alcoholic. Alcohol is my vice. Like, that's just what it is, you know?
Well, that's how I am. That's how I relapsed on Xanax last November. I relapsed last November on Xanax for 9 days. I quit smoking cigarettes, and I was a pack a day smoker for 25 years, and I quit smoking cigarettes. I was using a patch, and like I just needed some kind of an escape, and so I hit up my drug dealer, which AKA is my psychiatrist, and I was like, "Hey man, like I need something to get the edge off. I'm stressed out working on. I quit smoking cigarettes." And he's like, "How about Valium?" And I said, "No, it's not strong enough." He's like, "How about Xanax?" I said, "Okay." And then like I went through an entire script in 5 days, and I was like, they weren't strong enough. So he gave me even a stronger script. And then within 4 days, I'm overdose and shit. So
Yeah.
I don't have that psychiatrist anymore. I have a new psychiatrist. But it was just so easy to manipulate that dude.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was because I quit one thing, and then I felt, and I ended up smoking cigarettes again anyway because I was so high. I ended up buying a pack, and you know what I mean, like, and it is what. And I quit though January 1st. I was finally
Hell
able to
yeah.
quit the cigarettes, but it's just been it's stressful, and it's like that's the one thing that I'm having trouble with the most right now is cigarettes actually, and we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, but I will. This will be out in a couple months, and I'll keep you posted. And if you need anything, you got my information. I'll hit me up on Facebook. It was awesome to meet you and to hear your
Hell yeah, man.
story. And yeah, man, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Keep going to those meetings because the meetings out in California is some of the best recovery around in
Oh
the
yeah.
entire country is in California, and you're learning that firsthand right now. So
Hell yeah,
yeah,
man.
keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Hell yeah. I will. I
I'll talk to
will.
you soon.
Talk to you soon, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
no problem. Bye.